It's a Wednesday, and of course, when it's Wednesdays, we take our focus much on sanitation issues. Last week, there were issues that came up. The Environmental Service Providers Association, they were making some demands, asking the government to pay them arrears owed to them, else they will lay down their tools come 7th November. We caught up with the local government minister over the weekend when the sanitation day exercise was being observed, and he indicated that there has been some engagement with these members or the ESPA members and all that, but we will go into it deeper. Let's bring you this report of what happened over the weekend there. Sanitation Day that the local government minister embarked on together with the president of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs and other government officials and officials who also embarked on the exercise. But also, this is just to inform you that with a special package I made mention of today as we celebrated 21 years at CTFM, maybe in between we would have to cut or interrupt and bring you the package I'm talking about. But for now, let's bring you this report, and after the report, we have conversations on that. The minister led a delegation that included the president of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, Obuade Noche King Professor Odaifi Olenchi III, Deputy Local Government Minister Rita Na Odole-Soa, and Gender Minister Agnes Namomolate, among other officials, to observe National Sanitation Day on November 1, 2025. The team commenced the exercise at Krowo, where a cleanup activity was already underway.
And I'm saying with particular reference to Krowo that we should do it. It should be a habit such that if there's any sanitation award to be given, Krowo will have one. The delegation later visited the Lejokuku municipality to monitor the ongoing cleanup exercise. According to the MCE for Lejokuku, Israel Ajete, adequate measures have been put in place by the assembly to improve the sanitation situation within the municipality.
Very soon, you see that Lejokuku has become one of the most brightest and neatest in there. We've done the silting, we've done dredging across all the streams. We've done a lot.
The local government minister Ahmed Ibrahim also inspected the cleanup exercise at La Dadikotopon, where he reiterated government's commitment to providing metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies with the needed logistics to better manage sanitation in their respective areas.
Look at the enthusiasm. There was about 98% compliance. What we are left with is to making sure that we are able to provide logistics. There was a clear logistical challenge. We are not yet done with the purchase of dustbins, containers, boiler taxis, compactors, wheelbarrows, Wellington boots, shovels, and there's a logistical challenge. That's the only challenge, but that cannot be blamed on the MCEs or the indigenes. I think we as a ministry must carry that one on board.
The president of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, Obuade Noche King Professor Odaifi Olenchi III, who took part in the exercise, called on citizens to take personal responsibility for keeping their environment clean, stressing that the responsibility should not rest solely on the government.
Maintaining cleanliness in our communities should not be solely the government's responsibility. It must be seen as a shared commitment. As we strive to make Ghana the top tourism destination in Africa, we must take sanitation seriously. No reasonable person would choose to travel to a country or a continent with great tourist attractions, but poor sanitation.
Ahmed Ibrahim also addressed the recent threat by the Environmental Service Providers Association, ESPA, to withdraw its services nationwide on November 7, 2025, if arrears owed to waste management contractors are not paid. He assured that government is in discussions with ESPA members to resolve their concerns.
When ESPA issued their letter that they were giving ultimatum to government by November 7th, a lot of media houses were knocking my door to speak. I refused to speak. Because it wasn't that I couldn't speak, but I needed to engage ESPA. If there's a challenge, let's engage, dialogue, and solve it. So we've met them as a ministry. We've discussed a lot of things. I've promised them I'm going to meet other stakeholders and come back to them So there will be engagement either tomorrow or day after tomorrow. But in the interim, we've pleaded with them, and that's why today they all took part in this exercise. That problem with ESPA will be resolved.
So you saw that the local government minister ending that report indicating that some form of engagement have been had with the ESPA members. But join us live is Ama Ofori Entry, who is the Executive Secretary for Environmental Service Providers Association, ESPA, to let us understand what the engagement has been and whether they are excited about it or, like Oliver Twist, they want more. Good morning, madam.
Good morning and good morning to your cherished viewers.
Good. Thank you so much for allowing or for joining us and for us getting you this morning. The local government minister made mention of the fact that some form of engagement have been had, or you guys have held engagement, or you had some sort of negotiation and all that. Tell us about that. Is that something that you can confirm for us?
Thank you. Yes, indeed. We held a press conference on Wednesday, and then Thursday evening, the minister engaged us, which was a swift response. However, our petitions put before him were not attended to because it looks like he also has to engage other people before he can give us a definite answer. And as I speak today, Wednesday, I've been expecting that we would have had another meeting yesterday, today, hopefully, I don't know when. But then, I just want government to understand that the last thing ESPA would want to do is to be confrontational or even go on this strike, because we know the impact of the work we do. That is why even as a body and association, we always discourage this form of strike. So I would want to plead with the government that what we need are logistics. We need finances to continue providing the services that we are providing for Ghanaians. Currently, our bankers say we can no longer continue giving money without us servicing the loans. Our suppliers are saying they can no longer continue giving us supplies without us paying. So it's not, we have a genuine concern, and therefore we want government to treat it with its urgency and then give us the necessary logistics to continue providing service for our Ghanaians.
To refresh our minds a bit, the demands you are making, what is the time frame? Is it that you've not been paid for 9 months, a year, 2, 3? Just refresh our minds a bit. And if you'd want to also help us understand the amounts involved.
Thank you. The amount involved is millions and millions of cedis. And with the timeline, some companies are owed 9 months, some are owed a year, some are owed 2 years, and some are even owed up to 3 years. It's the letters I've received and the coalition have done so far. So the arrears are as far back as 3 years, for which we don't have to blame them also. You know, successive governments always inherit such debt. And the previous government was also partly to be blamed for not also settling the debt before going. Anyway, no one knew what the outcome would have been. But whatever it is, it's a systemic problem that we encounter anytime there's change of government. We want to even use this medium to make it such that we have to put in we have to correct this systemic structure so that it stops reoccurring. The inheriting of huge debt from one successive government to the other. So we are just pleading with government. They inherited a lot of arrears, a lot of debt from our sector. And even they as a new government, even as they came in, from January to date, they have also not paid us. So this is why we are calling on them that the service we are provided is an essential one. They all know when it comes to sanitation, it's capital intensive. Even management of a landfill daily involves a lot of money. So please, we need logistics to continue with our work. That is all that we are pleading with government.
You made mention of the fact that it's a systemic failure and has been there for a very long time. People not being paid, or firms not being paid for 3 years, 2 years, 9 months, and all that. But where you sit as the executive secretary and having dealt with members in your association, what has been the approach like? What has been the proposal to ensure that these issues are not brought up again and your concerns are addressed fully, so that in the near future we wouldn't see your outfit complaining about being owed money again?
Thank you very much. We've engaged the Ministry of Finance on this subject. We've engaged, it was then the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources. So one of the things to make the sector sustainable, to get a dedicated fund to support our sector, was one of the reasons why we came out with this Nobel innovation in terms of the sanitation and pollution levy. Well, there will be a dedicated fund to take care of the infrastructures that we have, just like the way we have it in the energy sector, that the power plants are supported with services. It's the same thing that we propose. So that was the intended purpose of the sanitation and pollution levy. But kindly, as we speak, the sanitation and pollution levy is no longer in place. So even as we have government will even get money to continue to sustain the infrastructure, will be a big challenge. So, and then we are re-engaging to ensure that per the contract agreement and all that is in it, is about time government also comply, so that they would not always owe service providers in arrears of 2 years, 3 years, which is not sustainable.
Wow. But now that you've not been paid for a very long time, will you want to share with us how some of your members are going about their operations, or others are totally out of business now?
To be very honest with you, even with the smaller companies, almost 30 companies are at the verge of collapsing.
Wow.
And that one even has to do with the fee fixing regime. The fees that assembly fix for the local companies to collect within their municipalities, metropolitan and district assemblies. The fees are determined based on the social needs of the community, not on the operational or the cost overhead that goes into the operations of the service provider. And this has affected a lot of companies. So we realize that we have not been efficient in doing our work. We are not taking pride in saying that, but that is the honest truth. And you see the rickety cars around, and we have, even with the transporting of the waste to the final disposal site, it's more than 90 kilometers. In Accra, we go all the way to Adepa landfill. So there are genuine challenges as far as even our waste management sector in its entirety is concerned. So we would want to plead with government. This is an essential service. All over the world, all over, how is it done? We are paid per tonnage. Nobody goes back to the household to collect 10 cedis, 20 cedis from the household for collection of waste. So going forward, if indeed we digitize Ghana and we can know that each assembly knows the household population, and if we just finish the population and census, and we should have an idea of the number of houses in a particular locality. That way, what happens? You pay the contractor per ton, then the contractor will now be compelled to work, and that one will make our city cleaner. But right now, what we are practicing with the contractors going back to collect their money door to door. Those are those doing the door to door. My membership is varied. I have different categories of membership. So I'm now talking about the general waste management challenges. So going forward, we are asking that government should really look at the whole sector so that the situation can improve. If not, even a few companies that are existing, they might run away from the sector. Or once they collapse, it means they cannot continue. When I took over about 12 years ago, I have seen about 10 companies collapse. I can mention names on air, but that is not good. So if indeed private sector is the engine of growth, why won't government support the private sector? We've done so well in terms of employment. We've engaged over 100,000 informal workers, and for formal workers, over 5,000. So we've, in terms of paying taxes and what have you, once the private sector is doing well, it improves the economy. And we also agree that with the intervention of the private sector, sanitation improves in Ghana. So we should not, it is time for us to sustain the gains we have made, not to rather retrogress. So we are just pleading with government. It's an essential service, and we do not intend being confrontational. That is not our intention. But then we need logistics to continue with our work.
I want to find out from you, your members, how many do you have? And also, we know that you've threatened to embark on a strike or lay down your tools November 7th. We will come to that as to whether you will embark on it or not. But you would also want to share with us what the side effect will be should you go ahead with your planned strike. But first, your members and what the ramification will be should you embark on this action you want to take.
With my membership, we have the formal contract, that's a big company. Then we have the informal. So we have the septic emptiers, those who pull it, we call them the liquid waste. Those who come to your household to put your wastewater. They also go to the waste treatment facilities to dislodge it. They are also part of the membership. With the informal, I have various their associations. So ESPA is more or less like an umbrella body of small associations that have come together. So under the informal, I have the Aboboya people, the Sachet Water people, the Scrap Relay, and even with the tickets, we have different memberships. So the membership is varied, and our membership is nationwide. It's not only Accra and Kumasi. So I have members who are into landfilling. I have members who are into transfer stations. I have members who are into recycling. I have members who are into wastewater treatment. I have members who are into hazardous waste treatment, and members also in electronic waste treatment. So currently, this is how the membership looks like. It is close to 10,000 members.
Wow. So should you decide to embark on a demonstration, you mean close to 10,000 members will all stop work?
What is going to happen is most of the places where they are going to be dumping, they will no longer have access to it. So it's going to affect their work. With the landfills, we do not have a lot. Even already we are even grappling with landfill challenges. We do not even have enough to even contain the waste at the final disposal site. It's one of the reasons why we are promoting the recycling, where we add value to the waste. And for those facilities, they've not been paid for a year and over. And their machines are very sensitive machines. The laborers, they've not been paid for months now. So how can they continue to provide service? So what is going to happen is, even with the informal sector, when they collect, they have to send it to the transfer station. So if these transfer stations are closed, how are they going to access it and dump? So it's the rippling effect of the big facilities being shut down that would affect everybody. So even if you, in your household, when your service provider picks your waste after, if the strike just come on, and after 7, he comes to pick your waste, where would he send it? That is the challenge. So that is how come it's going to affect everybody. And the last time it happened, there was cholera outbreak, malaria, what have you. That is not our intention at all. So I'm just making a passionate plea to the government that it's urgent and that they should attend urgency to this subject.
So from what you said, you've just been engaged once.
Yes, we've been engaged once.
And have you been told when next you'll be engaged?
Actually, the minister requested that we present a position paper to him, which I did yesterday. So I'm hopeful that today or tomorrow there might be another engagement.
Okay.
But that notwithstanding, what we need now is logistics. So I'm calling on Ministry of Finance to look at their miscellaneous budget and get something for the service providers to continue providing service while we work to correct the systemic challenges that have happened over the years.
Beautiful. Now, the big question I want to ask you, 7th November, will you embark on the exercise, on the strike, or laying down your tools or not?
We would embark on the exercise if we do not receive any form of financial support. It is not intentional. Our suppliers will not continue to give us fuel. Spare parts we owe in millions. They said they cannot continue to support us. For the landfills, they use drums of oil daily, about 4 or 5 drums daily. They owe over close to 2 years. Who would be doing business and be giving you credit facilities over and over and over again when you are not servicing the debt?
Wow. Anyway.
So that is where we are. It is not our intention. We are with the work we do. Government is our key partner. If government does not give us the contract, we cannot implement them. We cannot even work. So we are in partnership with government. If waste belongs to government, so the services that we are providing on behalf of the municipal, metropolitan municipal district assembly. So it is their mandate that has been privatized and called to the private sector. And the private sector indeed, you admit that ever since came on board the sanitation sector, the situation has improved. So we would not deliberately take an action like this. Even banks have taken contractors to court. As I see, some of my members are in court for not fulfilling, defaulting the agreements in terms of payments. Even internationally, especially even those who have gone for Exim Bank loans and what have you. So it's a very distressful situation. It's not like it's a very distressful situation.
Okay, Madam, thank you so much for your time. I'm out for your entry. We are grateful, and we'll be following up keenly what the government will be doing on this particular case. She's the Executive Secretary of Environmental Service Providers Association. She is saying that should nothing happen, definitely the action they want to take, they would definitely embark on the strike. And that means that that refuse of yours would have to stay in your home for a very long time till maybe they call off the strike. But the government maybe would have to meet them halfway and try and maybe clear their debts a bit, their arrears owed to them, so that they can proceed with their work, because she made mention of the fact that they have over 10,000 members. That's a lot. Anyway.